The series begins at the Star Academy, when the academy director, named Sang, hands out certificates to his students after they've passed their final exam. He starts congratulating them one by one, but when it's our hero Tan's turn, and the director calls him up to receive his certificate, Tan doesn't come out. Instead, he sends his driver to collect it for him. Super arrogant, of course. His classmates get really annoyed, especially a student named Adam, who decides to teach Tan a lesson because he sees him as arrogant and full of himself. So Adam gathers his gang and waits for Tan after the ceremony to pick a fight. The driver notices what's going on and rushes to call a student named Han, asking him to come help our hero. Han replies, "Help him? You better call an ambulance instead. Adam and his gang are going to break every bone in his body." But at that very moment, Tan is actually breaking their bones along with his own gang. No one can stand against this guy. He's a beast. It's like he opened the gates of doom on them. Everyone's in shock and has no idea what's happening. And to top it all off at the end, Tan tells them, "Here, take this money and go find yourselves a hospital to get treated. And if you need more, don't worry. I'll cover your expenses." Then, dear viewer, we learn that this academy is no ordinary school. It's a place for students with superpowers. They're divided based on their powers, their zodiac signs, and a bunch of other crazy stuff we won't get into. And the strongest person in the school is someone born under the Leo zodiac sign, Academy. He possesses a massive power that no one truly understands, but the whole school fears him and treats him with serious respect. That's exactly why Adam hates him and holds a deep grudge against him. Now we jump into a flashback, where we learn more about our hero's past and the day he was born. We go to his father, who is sick and on the verge of death. His wife confronts him and says, "Please tell me where your lover is. I know she's pregnant, and not only that, but the child will be born under the Leo zodiac sign. And as you know, I can't have children. I'm willing to adopt the child and protect both him and his mother in exchange for raising him as my own." At first, the husband refuses, but then he realizes that if he dies and no one knows about the child, his legacy will disappear and he'll have no heir. So he finally gives in and reveals where his lover is. The wife immediately contacts her driver and sends him to bring the woman, pretending she wants to protect her. But unfortunately, it turns out she's a snake. She gets rid of the mother and takes the child to raise him as her own. Our hero grows up thinking this woman is his real mother, but sadly, she's not. She's his stepmother, the very person responsible for his real mother's death. She only raised him so she could use him for her own gain. She knew he was the rightful heir to the family legacy, and that as long as he was by her side, no one would dare question or challenge her. Back to the present, the academy director finds out there are rumors spreading that the academy only accepts rich students and doesn't give opportunities to ordinary or poor families. So, to silence those rumors, he decides to adopt a student from a completely normal background and personally sponsor their education. The streets and look for any girl with superpowers or high intelligence. The assistant agrees, but tells him first, "I'm hungry, I need to eat something before I can focus." So they go to a very famous restaurant known for its delicious food. There, by chance, they meet a beautiful girl who clearly seems smart, organized, and talented. Plus, her cooking is amazing. The assistant approaches her and asks, "Are you studying or enrolled in any school right now?" She replies, "I don't have the money for that. You know how expensive education is these days. I'm just working here with my uncle at the restaurant to cover my basic needs." He becomes impressed, especially by her ambition, and offers her a chance to study at their academy. He tells her that he will cover all the costs, and all he wants from her is to study hard and prove herself. But to his surprise, she refuses. He asks, "Why? Think about it carefully. This isn't just any academy. This is Star Academy." Then he shows her the academy's badge to get her attention. It works. She softens a little and looks at him with interest. What truly changes everything is when she notices that he's carrying a badge that's identical to one she's seen before. Why is that important? Because she has been looking for someone for years, someone who once saved her life. She tells him, "I'll transfer to the academy and study there. I have to meet the person who owns that badge. I'll do anything to find him." He's thrilled. He gives her the application form and tells her to fill it out and head to the academy. Then he leaves. She rushes to her uncle and tells him everything that happened. the director's offer, and the opportunity she was given. Her uncle is overjoyed and tells her, "Of course you have to go. This is a once-in-a-lifetime chance." She agrees. The next day, she shows up at the academy with her application form. The moment she steps inside, she's blown away by the beauty and luxury of the place. She realizes immediately that this school really is for the rich. Everything is high class, and the students are served by staff dressed in designer uniforms. They even had dedicated changing rooms. As soon as she entered, one of the staff handed her a set of clothes and politely asked her to go change. She began looking around for an empty room, but noticed that every room had a nameplate with a student's name on it. That's when she realized that each student has their own private room, and no one is allowed to enter anyone else's. By chance, she found one room that didn't have a name on it. Thinking it was unused, she went inside to change. But suddenly, while changing, she heard a sound behind her. She turned around, and guess what? It was our hero. The moment she saw him, she freaked out and shouted, accusing him of being a pervert. She stormed out of the room in panic, leaving him completely confused. He ran after her, trying to explain that it was just a misunderstanding, but she didn't listen and yelled, "I'm going to ruin you, you creep!" At that point, his friend Hans stepped in, trying to calm her down. He told her, "Relax, okay? That's actually his room. You were the one who wasn't supposed to be in there. Technically, you're the one who should be punished." She got nervous and said, "Okay, how about we just forget the whole thing? I forgive him." Han replied, "Fine, let's pretend nothing happened." But then added jokingly, "By the way, where's your car and your driver?" She replied, "Car, driver? I don't have any of that. I'm poor. I'll just wait for the school bus." Soon enough, the school bus arrived and she got on. While on the bus, she noticed that she was the only poor student in the academy, until she saw a handsome guy named Mark. She found out that the director also adopted him, letting him study for free too. That made her happy. Finally, she felt like she wasn't completely alone. In this environment, she keeps repeating that she should stay with him and spend time with him because he's definitely the only one who will understand her. This encourages her to go to the academy. The next day, when she goes to school, the principal calls her in and asks her what she knows about the zodiac signs. She tells him that she only knows they assign a unique personality or special traits to each person. He laughs and tells her that the zodiac signs here are a bit different because they define each person's supernatural ability. He then introduces her to her classmates and shows her their abilities. Of course, she starts watching them, amazed, and asks, "How long has this been going on?" Then, overwhelmed by the shock, she faints. She feels like she doesn't belong at the school, and when she wakes up, she finds herself in the principal's office with a girl in front of her who introduces herself. The girl says, "My name is Sherry, and from today, we'll be friends." Sherry takes her on a tour of the school, and on the way, they meet a classmate, Cho. Sherry introduces him and tells her, "This is my boyfriend. He has a supernatural power just like yours." Then she asks about the protagonist's ability, but the protagonist says she doesn't have any supernatural power. Sherry reassures her, saying, "You'll discover your power over time," and continues to introduce her to the rest of the classmates and their powers. She shows her one classmate who can change her appearance to anyone in the world, another who can control fire, and a third who can move things from a distance. She also learns that the most powerful zodiac sign in the school is Leo, so she has to be careful and prepare for them because they might be a danger to her. Afterward, Sherry tells her that Adam is throwing a party at school and they go to attend it. The party continues with all the students until suddenly our protagonist arrives. Of course, he steals all the attention from Adam as usual. This leads to another confrontation between them, just like always. Our protagonist notices that Adam has a supernatural power, just like the young man who saved her when she was little, the same person she's been looking for. She realizes, "This is the one who saved me, this is my love," and she rushes to defend him. However, she accuses our protagonist of being a harasser, trying to turn everyone against him, but she fails. All the girls start hitting her and demand that she stay away from our protagonist. Then, Mark quickly steps in, takes her away from the situation, and they head to the classroom. When they arrive, the teacher asks her to introduce herself, but as she talks, no one wants to listen to her or even acknowledge her. Everyone ignores her because of what she did earlier. She feels isolated from the very first day. The protagonist eventually sits beside Sherry, and Sherry warns her to stay away from our protagonist, telling her not to talk about him because he's very popular in the school. His girlfriend also bullies any girl who gets close to him. Our protagonist responds saying, "I'm not interested, I just want to get closer to Adam." Sherry insists, "I warned you. Remember, I said this. Adam is foolish and has no interest in love or commitment." But the protagonist replies, "None of your business. I'll try with him and change him." Sherry gives up, saying, "Do whatever you want." Later, when the protagonist goes to the bathroom, our protagonist's girlfriend, the most beautiful and powerful girl in the school named Baby, approaches her. Baby offers her a painkiller to soothe her eye because it's hurting, introduces herself, and advises her to stay away from her boyfriend if she wants to remain in peace. Our protagonist tells Baby, "I'm not interested in him. I actually feel sorry for you. How could you be with someone like him?" Baby is surprised and asks, "Wait, weren't you defending Adam earlier?" Our protagonist responds, saying that she's just interested in him and wants to get closer to him, nothing more. Baby gets happy and encourages her, even telling her about Adam's whereabouts. Later, our protagonist shows Baby the badge she has and asks if it belongs to him, the same person who saved her when she was little. Adam responds, "What are you talking about? I never saved anyone. You must be mistaken. I've never rescued anyone in my life. Now, leave me alone. I'm already dealing with a headache from this morning, and I haven't even had time to recover." She insists, "No, you're forgetting. I'll remind you. I'll be waiting for you after school. If you don't show up, I'll give you another beating, one even worse than this morning." Adam thinks she's trying to challenge him, so he gathers all his friends, and they go to meet her behind the school to teach her a lesson. She says, "Are you crazy? What are you doing? I'm not here to fight with you. I just want to know if that badge is yours or not." Adam replies, "Stop pretending. I don't know anything about this badge. I've never defended anyone. Take your frustrations and break them. But listen to me, the badge isn't mine. I've never defended anyone, and I always stick with my friends." Our protagonist feels upset and starts crying, thinking he's doing this because she's weak and doesn't have any supernatural powers. Adam then tries to comfort her, offering her some candy and advising her to stay away from him because he's reckless and immature. She feels happy with his words and thanks him. As she's walking home, a car suddenly passes by, splashing water on her. She gets angry and confronts the driver, only to realize that it's our hero himself. She says to him, "You again? I'll ruin your life. But calm down, how much do you want to clean yourself up and get out of my head?" He replies, "No, I don't have time to clean myself or my clothes. Plus, this is the only outfit I have at home." She takes him to school, and he gives her his clothes, asking her to wear them until hers are washed. She agrees, and afterward he leaves. The next day, when he sees her wearing his clothes, he laughs. But then he starts teasing her, asking if he's her man, just because she's wearing his clothes. She gets embarrassed and tries to avoid him, saying, "Who would like her? Look at how she looks." Then he gets to the point, saying, "Let's get to the real issue. There's a match between me and Adam today, and I'm ready for anything." He asks his friends to gather the crew for the match. When they get there and see Adam, he tells him, "Get ready. I'm gonna crush you." Our hero responds, "Show me what you got, because I can't even see you. All I know is you're just all talk, so shut it before I sleep." Now they get into a heated verbal battle. Adam gets the chance to retort and says, "Shut up, let's see if you'll cry this time," before things escalate further. Just as things are getting intense, our protagonist enters the scene and asks Adam about something again. He replies, "Please spare me, we're about to fight here." He then tells his crew to take care of her while he goes back to continue his fight with our protagonist, saying, "I'm gonna shut you up for good." The match begins and Adam's team dominates the game at first. However, in an instant, the tables turn and our protagonist manages to pull off a victory. The match ends, and when he heads to school to pick up his prize to hand it to the protagonist, he discovers that she already ate it. The prize was a cup of chocolate, and that makes Sherry mad. She starts arguing with her, but the protagonist stops her and tells her there's no need to get worked up over a cup because he doesn't like it. After eating the chocolate, Mark steps in to defend our protagonist. He quickly takes her away and suggests they hide in the principal's office before our protagonist's fans come to fight with her as usual. She hides there, and at that moment, our protagonist goes to the office and sees Adam. He notices the badge she's carrying and asks where she got it from. She tells him, "When I was a child, a boy came to save me, and he had the same badge. I kept it so I could return it to him when I met him again. I gave him my handkerchief to keep too. Please don't tell me you're that boy." Adam hesitates and says, "No, that's not me." However, she realizes he's lying when she sees the handkerchief with him. She asks him where he got it from, and he quickly evades the question, claiming he took it from Han. At that moment, Baby sees them together, and she feels jealous, thinking that our protagonist might try to steal her boyfriend. She starts to bully her and asks her friend to keep an eye on the protagonist. Her friend follows her around, observing her every move. Later, she reports to Baby saying, "I saw it. The protagonist is getting closer to him just like you said. You were right all along. She's trying to steal him from you." Baby gets angry and decides she'll teach the protagonist a lesson. Meanwhile, our protagonist decides to follow Adam to return the handkerchief to him and get rid of the situation. Adam tells her that he gave the handkerchief back to its rightful owner, Han. She goes to Han and asks him if he was the one who saved her. He kisses her and confirms, "Yes, I saved you. What do you want?" She replies, "Nothing. I just want to thank you and repay you." He, seeing her vulnerability, tries to take advantage of the situation, saying, "Well, if you want to repay me, meet me at the hotel tonight." She realizes his intentions and gets angry, shaking her head and walking away. At that moment, she feels like someone is watching her. When she looks around, she sees Baby approaching with her friend, and they're clearly planning to teach her a lesson. Baby and her friends start mocking her, with Baby saying, "So you think you can just get away with this?" "No, we need to make sure she remembers this." Her friend agrees. "You're right. Let's go teach her a lesson she'll never forget." Our protagonist thinks they might be planning something worse, but instead they decide to vandalize the car parked next to her, thinking it's hers. They destroy it, warning her, "This time we ruined your car. Next time, we'll ruin your face." Just then, Mark arrives and steps in to defend her. He helps her get home, and it's a twist of fate when she finds out that the car wasn't hers at all. It belongs to the assistant of the principal, who happens to be someone from a lower background. The protagonist believes they were being targeted because of that, but Mark reassures her and tells her that they were just being mean. Mark asks her about what happened, and she tells him it's nothing, just that she might be seen as a fan of a certain hero. She apologizes for causing any trouble. He comforts her, saying he doesn't mind because she's his only friend at school, and then invites her to eat some pizza he made. She smiles and agrees. She offers to take him to her uncle's restaurant, and when they get there, Mark is shocked when he sees her uncle, realizing they already know each other. Her uncle greets Mark warmly and says, "I know this guy well. He's a good, kind person, and you should definitely get closer to him. It's clear that he likes you." She tries to avoid the conversation, telling her uncle that she's not interested in a relationship right now and is focused on her studies. Meanwhile, when our protagonist returns home, her mother reminds her that the superhero tournament is coming up soon. She urges her to do her best and not make any mistakes that could harm their family's reputation. But he's not really interested in the competition and leaves. Back at school the next day, our protagonist accidentally bumps into her classmate and helps her pick up her things. She finds a strange form in her classmate's hands and asks her about it. Her classmate explains, "It's a form for the poor students at the school, created to help them out." The protagonist asks if she can get one, and her classmate enthusiastically agrees, saying, "Of course, just sign here, and you'll be able to enjoy things like sushi, like the rest of us." The protagonist, excited, follows her instructions and signs the form. She thanks her and walks away, feeling like her life is about to change. Mark, who sees her, asks about the form. She tells him it's a form for the poor students, and he's surprised because he's never heard of it before. Still, he doesn't seem to care much, takes the form, and walks away. Suddenly, she gets a message on her phone, which informs her that she's been entered into the superhero tournament. She's confused, not understanding what it means, unaware that she had unknowingly signed up for the competition. Mark explains to her that it's a yearly event at the school, the most important one, where they select exceptional students and showcase their supernatural abilities. She tells him, "But I don't have any supernatural abilities. How can I participate?" And adds, Honestly, I should cancel the form. I'll just let this whole thing go. Mark warns her, though, unfortunately, that's not allowed. If the principal finds out, it could be trouble for you. You might even get expelled since you came here on a scholarship. She feels upset, but Mark reassures her and says he'll help her. He registers her for the competition and takes her to the library, where they can learn more about her opponent's abilities and how to deal with them to avoid injuries. At that moment, he sees them, our hero, and gets annoyed because they are close to each other in Beirut. To vent his anger, our heroine goes to him to return his clothes after washing them. She thanks him for helping her, takes the clothes, and tells him that she is still discovering her supernatural abilities. She asks for his help, since no one knows about his powers yet, or at least she wants him to show them to her. He gets angry with her, insults her, and tells her that he's not obligated to show her anything. If she doesn't believe that he has supernatural powers, that's her problem. He leaves and goes back home, where his mother stands in front of him and asks what he has done for the competition. He tells her nothing, and she hits him saying, "2 days have passed, and you're just getting by?" She then tells him there is no such thing as getting by, and that she wants him to make sure he wins, or else there will be no good outcome. She starts to tell him that instead of wasting time on nonsense, he should train and work hard because he doesn't know who he really is. He's the leader of the strongest group in China right now. At this point, our heroine begins to feel guilty because she got herself into this situation, dragging Mark into it as well. She decides to confess to the teacher what happened and tries to withdraw from the competition. However, she is afraid that Sherry and her teammate will bully her after she reports them. So she tries another approach and decides to spy on the contents of the competition, suspecting they might expel them. She tries to steal the materials, but by chance she finds 2 thieves, and thanks to her, the manager is able to catch them. The manager thinks she was trying to expose them, and instead of expelling her, he thanks her and says, "You did what you had to do, and to make sure that I'll guarantee that you'll be in the competition no matter what happens or how hard they try to stop you, I'll make sure you stay in." At this point, she feels like there's no hope, and her life is doomed. She accepts the reality, and when she returns to the restaurant, she's upset. Mark comes to her and asks what's making her so upset. She tells him it's because she joined a superhero competition, but she doesn't have any powers, and she's dragged him into it too. He reassures her, saying that there's no reason to be upset because she doesn't have to rely heavily on supernatural powers. Also, she didn't drag him into it. He was the one who wanted to join the competition himself and help her. "Aren't we friends?" he asks. She replies, "No, you're the best friend I've ever had," and she's happy that he's there with her. The next day, when she goes out for a walk, she runs into our hero by chance. He takes the opportunity to ask her to withdraw from the competition because he knows she doesn't have powers and might hurt herself. She tells him not to worry about her, as she has a plan and will know how to win. Plus, Mark will help her. He gets angry when he hears this and says, "Okay, listen, I don't want any trouble. If I see you in the competition tomorrow, I'll make sure to hurt you." She replies, "Who do you think you are to upset me? You don't even know me. You'll hear the roar of a lion tomorrow." It's clear that she's going to roar like a lion, but she reassures him, "Don't worry, I'll beat you and be the first one to get out before anyone else is in danger because I won't hurt you." She gets angry because he's underestimating her and throws the food she has in her hand. Later, she goes to Mark and says, "I have to train, I have to be strong, I need to win this guy." He asks her, "What guy? Why are you so angry?" She tells him it's not the time for questions and asks him to train her. The day of the competition finally arrives, and our heroine meets Mark again. Someone takes her to the bus that will take them to the competition. They arrive there, and our heroine suddenly finds herself in an abandoned place. They enter through a magical gate, and she learns that in this competition, everyone is responsible for collecting the pins of a certain zodiac sign. The person who collects the most pins will win. Meanwhile, our hero finds out that he will be responsible for collecting pins from the Virgo sign. It turns out that our heroine is also from the Virgo sign, and they agree that he will steal her pin first. However, our hero refuses and asks to be left out of this whole situation. He then asks about the pins he's supposed to collect, and the other person tells him he needs to collect pins from the Leo sign. Our hero gets tense because that's his own zodiac sign, but the other person reassures him saying, "You're my friend, so I'm telling you, there are a lot of people from Leo this year and you can get their pins without hurting anyone you know." After that, they part ways, and our heroine finds herself surrounded by her classmates. It looks like she's about to lose because they all think she's weak. However, our hero turns into a beast, takes them all down, breaks their bones, and takes their pins. Suddenly, he feels like someone's watching him and sees Mark behind him. He wants to confront him, but Mark defends himself and tells him he hasn't done anything wrong. Our heroine also comes to his defense, takes him, and escapes. Our hero gets angry but doesn't care and lets them escape. Mark takes advantage of the opportunity, thanks our heroine for helping him, but she tells him there's no need for thanks. She then leaves him and walks away. She tries to collect the rest of her pins, but of course she knows her abilities are weak. If anyone sees her, she'll be disqualified. So she's very careful with her pin and believes that if she manages to get it, she can qualify for the next round. Meanwhile, Sherry and her boyfriend are playing and collecting a lot of pins, working together to reach first place, along with Adam. Suddenly, when our heroine is hiding, she finds Mark in front of her, completely beaten up and injured, with no part of his body left unharmed. She feels responsible for him and takes him to a room to treat him. At this point, she feels a strange sensation because she had promised to protect him, but now it's the opposite of what's happening. Her feeling turns out to be accurate, as the person in front of her is actually his friend, Baby. Using her powers, Baby manages to disguise herself as Mark to deceive our heroine and steal her pin. However, our heroine is smart and manages to expose Baby's trick and captures her. Afterward, Baby escapes, but not before our heroine manages to take Baby's pin. She walks away feeling happy and proud until suddenly a group of people kidnaps her. They plan to use her as bait to lure our hero and steal his pin. As soon as our hero learns that she's in danger, he rushes to defend her. They take advantage of the opportunity and try to attack him, but he catches them and teaches them a lesson. He beats them up and throws them around like dogs, and they end up handing over their pins, apologizing and admitting that they were wrong. This marks the end of the competition. The winners are announced, and our hero qualifies for the next round. His heroine goes to see him to congratulate him, but he's not interested and heads home. When he gets there, he finds our heroine waiting for him. She runs toward him, thanking and apologizing for her previous behavior. He tells her he's not interested, and that he defended her simply because he felt sorry for her, nothing more. Suddenly, as they're walking, a group of masked young men get out of a taxi and attack them. He tries to defend himself and her, but she becomes a hindrance to him. They manage to cast a spell that paralyzes his fingers, making it hard for him to move. Our heroine wants to help and asks him who these people are and why they're chasing him. He replies, "If I knew, I'd tell you, but right now it's important that you don't talk to anyone about this because of how I look at school." When he gets home, his mother notices something is off and asks why he's late and why he has his hand in his pocket. He tries to brush it off, saying it's just for style. She insists, asking him to show her his finger, and he reluctantly does. She realizes something's wrong and asks who did this to him. He lies, saying he just fell, and quickly runs off before he slips up in his story. Later, he tries to break the curse, but he can't. Meanwhile, his mother goes to her servant and asks who might have done this to her son. The servant replies that it's definitely the work of the Snake Gang. They're the ones who did this and who are chasing him. She decides to take action and heads to our hero. She tells him not to leave the house, and she will go to check if the Snake Gang is really the one behind this, and if they are still chasing him. This is because their magic is supposed to be strong. He sends her a message saying he can defend himself, but she tells him no, and it's forbidden for him to leave. If he does, things won't go well. The next day, our heroine goes to school and notices that he's not there. She asks about him, and they tell her that he's being punished, and he's not supposed to leave the house for a while. She asks, "Well, I want to visit him. Will you help me?" He agrees and takes the opportunity, telling her she has to pretend to be his girlfriend to get inside the house. She agrees and says, "Okay, let's go. It's in God's hands." He takes her and buys her a new outfit to make her look rich and classy. He then takes her to the hero's house, pretending she's his girlfriend. Our hero's mother is surprised when she sees her, but she allows them to enter. When the hero sees her, he's amazed by her beauty and is taken aback, thinking He's seeing butterflies. He says to her, "What's this beauty?" She replies, "I've always been beautiful, you just don't see it." Then she adds, "But I do have a note. Are you going to always be this dull and never say a single sentence to relax my tired heart?" He asks, "The street behind you, I mean, come here and let me show you something." He tries to get closer to her to become friends. At that moment, his mother enters and misinterprets the situation, thinking he's with her. She then asks her guard to keep an eye on our heroine and watch her closely, because she suspects she's playing both sides. The guard tells her, "I have information for you, and I don't know if it's true, but I heard she was with the hero during the attack. I actually suspect she's the reason for the attack. The hero had nothing to do with it. They wanted her, not him." She gets angry, her blood boiling. She decides to distance her from our hero in any way she can. She tells him that the wedding date for Bibi is approaching. He's shocked and tells her that he's not ready for marriage and that he doesn't love her. She asks, "Since when have you made this decision? It's not your decision. I don't want to hear your mother's words. I want her heart to be angry at you." Anyway, think carefully. That's your answer, but he doesn't really care. When he finds out that his friends at school are having a barbecue, he goes to them. She takes advantage of the opportunity and goes to check on him. He tells her, "Look, I'm not in the mood for you. Stay out of my face. I don't want to see you all through dinner." She responds, "Honestly, no. I'll stay with you, close to your heart the whole time. I also found out that they want to hurry with the marriage. This is the mindset. I'm so happy that we'll finally be together in the same room. I'm ready anytime." At that moment, our heroine overhears them and learns that our hero has decided to marry Bibi. She gets upset, feeling betrayed, and can't handle it. She feels heartbroken and goes to cry. Mark follows her and tries to calm her down, hugging her. At that moment, our hero arrives, sees them, and misunderstands. He realizes she's not interested in his feelings, and Mark urges her to go with him and let him know she's interested in him. But she refuses, of course. She tells him that there's no need for all this anymore because he's getting married soon. She continues to ignore him all the time, even when they go to events. At night, they try to get closer to her to make her understand that she's misunderstood, but she doesn't care. Suddenly, a huge fire breaks out at the school, and the principal tries to put it out. However, at the same time, there's another plan going on where people are stealing documents from his office that belong to our heroine and contain information about her family. He wonders who did this and what their goal is in stealing files about a person who has no special abilities, is just an ordinary person, and even poor. No one really cares about her, so he doesn't give the situation much attention. The next day, he gathers the students and informs them about the second part of the competition. This time, he asks them to cooperate as teams. He offers our heroine the chance to be partners with him, and she agrees. Meanwhile, the Snake Gang learns that our heroine will be at the mountain. They decide to wait for her, and it becomes clear that she's their target and that there's a big secret behind her. When she arrives and they see her, they send one of their members to get her away from Mark and take advantage of the situation when she's alone. He succeeds in getting her away from him by telling Mark that the students will be searched immediately and that the principal wants to see him. Mark believes him and goes with him, leaving our heroine alone. The Snake Gang seizes the opportunity and goes straight to her. They take all her belongings and understand that they need to search her immediately to make sure she's not hiding anything that can protect her. Afterward, they wrap her in cloth, and it's clear that this is one of the rituals performed in the competition, which makes her look like a fool. She believes them and does exactly what they say, but our hero arrives at the last moment and realizes it's a trap. He intervenes and starts fighting them all. Unfortunately, he realizes he can't defeat them, so he takes her and escapes. At the same time, the school principal decides to speak with someone from our heroine's family, but the only one he finds is her uncle. He goes to him and tells him he feels like she's in danger because her file was stolen from the school. The uncle gets furious and says, "How could this kind of negligence happen? How could you let someone steal a student's file from your school? You promised me you'd protect her." The principal apologizes and promises that from now on, he'll protect her and keep an eye on her 24/7. He asks the uncle about her family. The uncle tells him that her mother had internal bleeding and died right after giving birth to her. Her father felt guilty and disappeared after the birth, and no one has known his whereabouts since then. That's why the uncle raised her alone. The principal is surprised and asks him for the father's name. He tells him his name is Cheng. As soon as the principal hears the name, he's shocked. It's clear he knows him. At the same time, it turns out that today is the anniversary of our heroine's mother's death. Her father, feeling guilty, goes to visit her grave. The principal happens to be there by coincidence and sees him. He tries to talk to him and tell him some things about his daughter, but the father is drunk and not really aware of what's happening. The principal thinks about just walking away, but he decides to tell him the truth. Your daughter is in danger. He asks him, do you have any idea why they're chasing her? And it's revealed that when she was born with a big secret. He starts to tell the father about it. But, dear viewer, we still don't know what that secret is. We will find out eventually. The principal realizes this is serious, and it's necessary to involve Face Spencer in the matter. He's shocked by the secret she was born with and decides to have her undergo some medical tests so he can make sure of what he's saying, and it keeps repeating that he wants to send his daughter to her grandfather. We stopped because she has a very high-level center for superpowers, but Chung refuses, saying, I don't want my daughter to be exposed to danger. And he also says, she's an evil woman, and no one knows her true nature, her or her son, so I would never trust my daughter to go to that chameleon lady. At the same time, our hero thinks they've finally reached a safe place where they can hide. But suddenly, they find the snake gang in front of them again. The gang attacks them, and this time, they're about to finish off our heroine, about to throw her off a mountain. But our hero defeats them and manages to save her at the last moment, grabbing her hand. She remembers what happened in the past when a small boy saved her, and now she realizes it's him. He lied to her when he said he was Han. This time, she decides again to sacrifice herself. She begs him to let her go and run away, but he refuses. So she is forced to hurt him. And here, finally, dear viewer, he's forced to reveal his true ability, reincarnation. He creates 2 copies of himself so he can pull the heroine up and save her. Of course, the truth he was hiding, which no one in the whole school knew, is now out. But she doesn't care and thanks him because this is the second time he saved her. She waits for the right moment, and he asks her not to tell anyone what she saw because his power is rare. And if his mother finds out, she'll be very angry. She tells him, don't worry, your secret is safe with me. Then they go look for a safe place to stay until someone comes to rescue them. Meanwhile, the headmaster finds out that sorcerers attacked the competition and that our hero and heroine were targeted, so he rushes to the tournament to save them. He cancels the competition and orders them to search for them and bring them back as soon as possible. At that time, our hero is in the forest waiting for someone to rescue them. But time is passing in vain, and it's getting dark. They decided to sit down together and talk things out to resolve all the arguments that had happened between them. Our hero also takes the opportunity to hint to her that he likes her, but suddenly, the headmaster arrives with his assistant and interrupts them, quickly taking him away to return home. The events that happened reach the hero's mother, and as soon as she finds out he was with the heroine, she obviously gets furious. She says, I warned you so many times about that girl. She's a danger to you. Why don't you ever listen? He tells her he had to help her because he felt sorry for her. She says, the most important thing, don't tell me you used your true power. He immediately denies it and says, no way, I would never. She replies, fine, but this time you'll be punished for real. And if I see you step 1 foot outside this house, you don't know what's going to happen to you. He gets angry and tells her, I'm not a little kid anymore to be treated like this. She snaps back, don't forget who you are. You're the son of the richest and most powerful family in China and their only heir. You need to protect that at all costs. She then orders her bodyguard to keep him under close watch and monitor him all the time, so he doesn't pull the same trick again and escape like last time. Meanwhile, our heroine goes to see Mark and asks how he did in the competition, but he ignores her and doesn't talk. It's clear that he's upset, especially because lately she's been getting close to our hero and distancing herself from him. When he tries to hint that he likes her, she pretends to be clueless, like she doesn't even notice. She tells him, I've got a lot of studying to do, and walks away, leaving him frustrated. Mark becomes certain that there's no hope of being with her because clearly she only has eyes for our hero. A week passes in this situation, and the heroine is dying to see our hero. Unfortunately, his mother has him locked away until the exam period arrives. He says, "This is my chance." But sadly, his mother sends a bunch of guards with him to school. Even after the exam ends, when the heroine tries to talk to him, the guards block her. She tells him, "You have to keep your promise from when we were in the forest that you'd celebrate my birthday with me." She tells him she'll be waiting, but he doesn't give her a clear answer. Still, she doesn't give up. She decides to go to Han and suggests they pretend to be a couple again so they can visit him. Han agrees, but when they get there, the guard recognizes her and refuses to let her in, saying his mother forbade anyone from visiting him. That's when she realizes the mother is trying to keep them apart, and it really upsets her. Han reassures her, saying, "Don't worry, I'll go check on him myself." He and Adam go to see him, and they're allowed in. As soon as our hero sees them, he's overjoyed and asks them for a favor, to help him escape so he can see the heroine for her birthday. They feel sorry for him and agree to help. They succeed in getting him out, and he goes to see the heroine. They spend the whole day together, going out, having fun, and not only that, he finally confesses his love for her and asks her if they can officially be together. At the same time, his mother finds out he lied and escaped from the house, and that his friends helped him. She gets furious and promises to punish him, this time with a punishment that could break steel and summon demons. Back to the heroine, she's overjoyed and says, "Of course I agree to be with you," and everything feels like it's falling into place. He insists on walking her home, but his mother finds out where he is and comes to take him back. At that same moment, Mark sees them together and gets upset. He drinks to try to forget about the heroine. She sees him like that and asks him why he's doing this to himself. He replies, "I don't know," then leaves without giving her an answer, but she doesn't care about what he says. Her uncle goes to her and says, "I told you, my daughter, Mark is a good guy. Take my advice and be with him." She replies, "I've got a better idea for you, uncle. Go to sleep, cover up, and tomorrow everything will be just fine." At the same time, our hero is getting scolded by his mother for going out without asking for permission, and worse, with the girl she warned him not to see again. She says, "Next time, I won't just warn you. I'll block her path, not yours. I'll shut down her shop, get her expelled from school, and make her disappear completely. So for her own good, it's better you stay away from her now on your own, before I force her out of your life." He starts to worry, knowing his mother is capable of doing exactly that. When our heroine goes to school the next day, she finds out there's a new competition. This time, it's a boxing match. Her opponent will be Bibi. She gets ready and says, "I'm not afraid of anything. I've done boxing since I was little. Just bring me anyone and I'll knock them out." But as soon as she steps into the ring, Bibi lands the first punch and she falls to the ground unconscious. She's forced to surrender politely and with proof, so she doesn't look even worse. Deep down, she feels upset, weak, and like she's the least among them. She tries to walk away, but our hero follows her, telling her he won't let her stay upset. He plays music for her and tries to cheer her up. Then their classmates come over to comfort her too, saying she was brave in their eyes. She tried her best against Bibi, the strongest girl in the school. Things start to feel better, and they even take a group photo together, making it a happy moment. But when Bibi sees them, she gets upset and jealous, feeling like the heroine has stolen not only her crush, but also her friends. Suddenly, the headmaster announces the final round of the competition. They find out the match will be between Bibi, our hero, Mark, and Adam. The winners from each team will face each other until there's one final champion. Mark gets fired up and becomes determined to win no matter what. And when the competition starts, Mark uses all his strength to defeat Adam and wins his round. Then it's our hero's turn to face Bibi. She tells him in front of everyone that she's willing to drop out of the competition if he admits that he loves her, but he refuses, saying he won't lie about feelings he doesn't have. He tells her he likes someone else and is even willing to drop out of the match and give her the win if it means ending this nonsense. She responds, "Wow, you hate me that much? You can't even pretend for my sake?" Then she adds, "You don't need to withdraw. I'll withdraw myself. I hope you and your sweetheart have a happy life together." She walks away with a broken heart, but he doesn't care or react. Instead, he goes out with the heroine and they celebrate together. Unfortunately, his mother finds out again that he escaped the guards. She loses her temper, shakes everyone in the household, and waits angrily for him to return. She starts arguing with him and says, "You know what? I'm done. I'm carrying out my threat. If you don't leave that girl," he interrupts her. "What do you even want from me? Just tell me. In the end, you want me to run the company and be your heir? Fine, I'll do it. But beyond that, you have no claim over my life. Let me live my days and be happy with the girl I love." She gets angry, but he storms off. At the same time, when our hero arrives at school, he finds Mark waiting for him. Mark says, "Aren't you tired of acting? Pretending you're a Leo sign and the strongest one around? No one here even knows the truth about you, that you're not a Leo." Then he adds, "I'm going to put an end to your little act today." Mark tries to provoke him and hits him, hoping to force him into revealing his true powers. But our hero resists and still refuses to show his real abilities. That frustrates Mark, who ends up using his own Leo powers and begins attacking our hero, beating him up pretty badly before walking away. Our hero rushes home to take his special medicine. His mother sees his condition and asks what happened and who did this to him. As usual, he lies and says he just fell. She doesn't dig too deep and simply gives him his pill, reminding him how important it is and making sure he finishes it. Then she reminds him, "Tomorrow is the final day of the competition. You'll be going up against Mark, and you have to win. I've been hearing a lot of rumors about him lately. People are doubting him, saying he's not really strong, and they don't want to give him his inheritance, so he's going to fight with everything he has." He responds, "Don't worry, I've prepared everything. I'll win. Now please let me rest. I've got a headache." The next day, Mark shows up at school, and it's clear something is different about him. Tension is in the air. The heroine goes to cheer on our hero and tells him not to worry. It's just a small competition. She asks him to play well, but not to get too hurt. Mark overhears and gets angry, saying, "What do you think this is, a game? I came to win, not joke around, but what I really want to know is, what made you fall for him? I was always there for you, always trying to help you." She doesn't respond, and that only makes him more upset. He storms off, even more determined to win and crush our hero in front of her, to show her that he's weak. Before the match starts, Adam checks on our hero and sees he looks exhausted. It's clear he hasn't eaten and is struggling. Adam begs him to withdraw so he doesn't get hurt, but our hero refuses and says he has to fight no matter what. Adam pleads with him, saying his safety is more important than anything. Meanwhile, the heroine also tries to convince him not to go through with it, warning that Mark is desperate to win and will do anything today. But he isn't interested. He's made up his mind. The match begins. It's time to decide. Who is truly the strongest student in the school? Everyone expects our hero to win. But Mark surprises everyone. He reveals his true power, his Leo zodiac abilities, and completely overwhelms our hero with ease. The entire crowd is shocked by Mark's strength. They've never seen it before. Mark seizes the opportunity and demands that our hero admit he's not a Leo. If he does, Mark says he'll stop, but our hero refuses. "I'll always be the strongest in this school," he says, "and I am a Leo. I'm not admitting anything." This enrages Mark even more. "You're really pushing me," he says. "If you don't tell the truth now, I'll break you. Or maybe worse." He prepares for the final blow. That's when the heroine loses it and rushes in to try and stop him. She, the heroine, tells Mark to stop. It's not worth going that far just to win. She even begs our hero to surrender. But of course, he refuses and becomes even more stubborn. Mark realizes that our hero won't back down, so he is the one who gives up. As a result, our hero wins the title of the strongest student in the school for the third time in a row. But the truth is, everyone now knows that our hero is actually weak and doesn't have any supernatural powers. Unlike Mark, whose strength has now been revealed to the whole school. Everyone starts fearing Mark and treats him like royalty now. Meanwhile, our hero ends up in the hospital and his friends come to check on him. The heroine asks them where Mark is, and they tell her that he ran off after the match. No one knows where he is. Then our hero's mother arrives at the hospital to check on him. She asks to speak to the heroine alone. She politely asks her to stay away from her son because she's causing harm. The heroine admits she likes him and can't just walk away. His mother pulls her aside and says, "You're not from our class. You're from a poor family and we're rich. Besides, he's going to marry baby soon." The heroine snaps, "How? He doesn't even love her." The mother responds coldly, "Love has nothing to do with it. We marry people from our own class, other wealthy families. The heroine feels deeply insulted and walks away, upset. At that moment, the school principal approaches her. He says he wants to ask her something about our hero. He played way too weak during the championship, which was unlike him. He even looked visibly exhausted. The principal asks if she knows why. She says she doesn't, but if he acted like that, he must have had a reason. In the end, everyone now knows. It turns out that our hero does have supernatural powers, but he doesn't like showing them off to anyone. The heroine tells him to keep to himself, but he's surprised by her response. He decides to investigate the matter himself. He asks the nurse, after she leaves our hero's room, to take a blood sample so he can have it analyzed. Meanwhile, Mark decides he's going to quit school and won't return. Instead, he plans to work any job. At the same time, the leader of the snake gang manages to find Mark. He asks him to cooperate with them in order to eliminate our hero. Mark initially refuses, but is offered a tempting deal. The gang leader tells him that if he joins them and helps eliminate our hero, they will make him the sole heir to the richest family in China. The leader promises that Mark will be able to marry the woman he desires, since the family would have control over everything. He tells him to think carefully and respond quickly because the time is running out. The new heir ceremony for the family is tomorrow. Mark is given 24 hours to decide. Mark starts thinking deeply about it and calls the heroine. He asks to meet her. When they do meet, he tells her he has 2 questions for her. The first question is why she ran away and why she did that to their hero. The heroine gets upset when she hears him mention the hero and admits that she loves him. She answers his question directly, saying that she will always defend him, no matter what, and will protect him if anyone tries to get close to him. Mark realizes that she has feelings for him. When he asks what her second question is, she replies that it's no longer important since the first one was answered. The next day, there's a big ceremony where they crown our hero as the new heir of the family. The heroine is happy and proud, especially since everyone at the ceremony is trying to get close to her because she's now going to be the mother of the new heir. Our hero starts preparing for the party, and Baby goes to him, as usual, trying to get close. He asks her to stay away completely. She tells him, "Do as you please, act how you want, anyway, tomorrow we are the ones getting married." Then he says, "How are you going to act like that when you know I'll be right in front of you 24/7?" Suddenly, she sees the principal standing in front of her, and she says he wants to talk to her about something important. She tells him, "We can talk after the ceremony," but he says no. This can't wait. He asks her, clearly and frankly, "Does your son have a problem with his abilities?" She denies it, and he tells her he tested his blood and knows everything. He says she's been using medicine to hide his abilities and asks why she's doing that. She pretends to be clueless, and he tells her, "There's no need to act like this. I know everything." He warns her that if she doesn't cancel the event, he will expose her and the hero and tell everyone that the hero has weak abilities, which is why he didn't want to show them. She, who's been waiting for this event for 18 years, gets angry and says, "You want me to cancel it? I'll cancel your existence. Get out of my sight before I lose my temper." He responds, "Remember, you started this war, and you won't be able to end it." At the same time, our hero goes down to the party to look for the heroine, but he can't find her. He starts to panic and calls her, and it's Mark who answers. He's surprised and asks, "What are you doing with the heroine's phone?" Mark says, "Oh, I forgot to tell you, I kidnapped her." He's shocked and says, "No, seriously?" and calls him on a video call. He sees that she's indeed kidnapped and realizes she's in danger, with a bomb next to her. He understands that if he doesn't act fast, our hero is furious. Mark tells him, "We're in the hotel right next to you. It won't take much from you. Just come and save her." Our hero arrives at the location, and Mark tells him that the whole place is under surveillance, and any movement he makes will be seen by the guests. We then find out that Mark is a coward who took advantage of the situation to show the guests that our hero is weak and doesn't have any superpowers. Suddenly, he makes the guests attack him and they start beating him up. However, our hero is unable to defend himself. All of this is being shown at the party, and people watching the video can't believe it. They think the strongest guy in the family is this weak, unable to even defend himself. When his mother sees the video, she asks to have it turned off quickly. She tries to fix everything and tells the guests that this was just an entertainment video our hero made for them to enjoy their time. Suddenly, Mark arrives, showing off his skills, standing tall like a lion, and everyone is shocked when they see him. They realize that he is supposed to be the real heir, the one with the strongest abilities. They decide he will be the heir of the family. Our hero's mother can't stop them, especially when Mark tells them, "I'll expose her." He then tells them that our hero's mother was pregnant, but the child was born prematurely and she thought he had died. But in reality, he was alive, standing in front of them. Mark reveals, "I'm the real child. The one she raised is not her son. He's the son of her husband's mistress. He wasn't even born in Leo's sign, but in Gemini. He doesn't have any superpowers and has no right to inherit the family." Our hero's mother is stunned, realizing that the son she lost a long time ago is still alive. Meanwhile, our hero manages to reach the heroine and save her from the bomb. Once he ensures she's safe, he takes her and escapes, arriving at the place where the party is held. He tells her, "Now everyone knows the truth. I'm not from Leo's sign, and I don't have any superpowers. The woman who raised me isn't even my real mother. She's my father's mistress. Not only that, but Mark turned out to be my brother, the real heir, the one with the actual abilities." Our hero is in shock, unable to process that all this time he was fighting with his own brother. At the same time, Mark meets with the family elders who welcome his visit, as he seems like a polite, respectful, and responsible young man. They tell him, "You're the heir now." But unfortunately, they add, "We'll have to punish your mother since she lied to us." Our hero doesn't care and tells them that he doesn't consider her his mother because the real one is the one who raised him and passed away. When he goes to the school and tells the principal everything, the principal says they'll leave her alone since everything is out in the open, and he doesn't have any powers. The principal tries to convince him to change his mind, but he takes the opportunity to ask if he's been taking any medication. Our hero denies it, and they realize that everything is over. There's no need for him to take the medication anymore. Later, he walks through the streets, unsure of where to go. He meets Adam, who offers him help. Adam suggests that he move in with him at his hotel, but our hero refuses, saying that he'll find somewhere else to live. He doesn't want anyone to pity or sympathize with him. Adam then tells him to go to the heroine and asks if he can stay with her until he finds a place. She agrees, but on the condition that he helps them at the restaurant. Suddenly, a strange man arrives, and as soon as they see the heroine's uncle, he gets angry. He asks, "What are you doing here and how did you even get here?" The heroine is confused, asking, "Who is this? And why is my uncle talking to him like that?" He answers, "This is your father, the one you didn't know about." She's shocked and looks at him in disbelief. She waits for him to apologize for all the years he was absent, or at least defend himself. But the first thing he tells her is that they must separate and that they can't continue being together. She's shocked by her father's words, stands up, leaves, and locks herself in her room. She cries over her fate and how the day she gets to know her father, she's forced to break up with her lover. At the same time, her uncle comes in and asks where he's been. He then tells him the whole story from the beginning. He says he worked for a company owned by the richest family in China. The president's wife was pregnant, but unfortunately, she gave birth prematurely and thought her son had died. At that time, she decided to take the child of her husband's mistress and raise him as her own, so that he could inherit everything and she could control it. Unfortunately, he disappeared because he felt guilty and couldn't face her with the truth that he was part of the crime. He explains that it was his fault the child grew up in another family and that his actions also caused the mother's death. Our hero is stunned after hearing everything and goes to his mother, asking if she knows someone named Chang. She's surprised and asks, "How do you know him?" He answers, "I forgot to tell you, but this is the father of the heroine, the girl I love." She reflects on herself and says, "I did that so he could inherit." In the end, he wasn't raised as the son of someone no one would have allowed to live among us. They all would have hated you and bullied you, and you wouldn't have inherited anything. I needed a child at the time, and you needed a real mother. We completed each other. Please forgive me. I can't live without you. He takes his medication, but he refuses and tells her that he can no longer trust her and doesn't even know what's in the medication. She might want something else. She tries to defend herself, but he doesn't care. He leaves and walks away. When he exits, he finds Baby in front of him. As soon as she sees him, she runs to him and she says, "You've been so cruel. I was waiting for you and I think we need to get married." He tells her, "Enough with the act. I'm not the rich boy you wanted anymore." She tries to tell him that she loves him, but he doesn't care and walks away. Meanwhile, Mark goes to the company to take control of everything. Our hero tells him he should face him and punish him for what he did, for kidnapping the heroine and trying to sacrifice her for such a worthless position. Mark tries to defend himself, saying the bomb wasn't real and he had to do it to get the inheritance. But our hero doesn't care if it was real or not and tells him he can never forget what he did. He really wanted to hurt her, even if he was pretending. He says he won't forgive him, and leaves. Mark feels guilty and reflects on his actions, realizing that the heroine was his closest friend. How could he have done that? He then goes to her and tries to talk to her, but he can't. As soon as she sees him, she tells him, "I wish you would forget that we were ever friends. We're different now. You've become strong and rich, while I'm still the same, poor and without a family." He tells her he did everything to make her fall in love with him because he thought she loved our hero only because he was rich and strong. She now understands how crazy he was. Our friend asks her to come with him to the company because there is something important he wants to show her. She agrees and they go to the room where they can see the stars. He tells her that he bought a star in her name just for her and shows it to her. She loves the gesture but tells him that she can't return the affection, unfortunately, because she's in love with someone else. He tells her that he has no problem with that as long as she forgives him and they can still be friends. She agrees. Afterwards, she returns home, and as soon as she arrives, she finds that her uncle has been kidnapped. Unfortunately, just as she is about to talk to him and ask who did this, a gang comes and threatens him. Her hero rushes to defend her, but sadly he arrives at the last moment. They discover everything that happened, and he asks her to go with him for her safety, but it's too late. The Snake Gang manages to take her to their secret hideout. When they get there, they start clapping like fools. She asks them who they are, why they've brought her here, and what she did. Then their leader arrives and shows her a picture of someone who looks exactly like her. He tells her the story. Centuries ago, the girl in front of her was the strongest one in the galaxy, possessing a power called the snake magic, which gave her strength. Unfortunately, she died, and the last person in her lineage is her. He explains that this means she has the spirit of the snake inside her and that they need to take it from her. She replies, "Ah, so this is a big deal. You look like you're staying up late watching horror movies and trying to freak me out. Go away. I don't have any power at all." She prepares to leave after telling them that she's weak. However, they force her to stay, insisting that she'll remain there until she reveals her true power. She tries to escape from this madness and feels trapped with them until someone arrives to save her. Meanwhile, the hero goes to his mother and asks her to find the location of the Snake Gang. They discover that the heroine is in danger and he needs to protect her. At first, his mother refuses, but later, she feels pity for him and tells him that if he wants to reach them, he needs to go to the company and use the mysterious star platform, as it's the only way to access them. She tells him where their hideout is. He heads to the company and asks Mark to show him the star platform. He takes advantage of the opportunity, begins to pressure him, and tells him that he agrees to help, but only if Mark agrees to be his servant and work for him constantly. Mark agrees to this condition. The hero tells him that the heroine is in danger and needs to be saved because the Snake Gang has kidnapped her. Mark didn't know this and thought he was joking, but then realizes the hero is serious. Mark gets angry and goes to meet the gang leader, asking why they kidnapped her and if they are going to return her. The leader tells him, "No, my friend, you didn't think of yourself as the boss. It was me who helped you get to where you are now. If it weren't for me, you'd still be doing part-time jobs, struggling to find food or water. By the way, I want to tell you that I need this girl. I want her power, and there's nothing you can do about it or I'll expose." Meanwhile, the heroine manages to escape and immediately runs to the school principal. She tells him everything that happened, that the gang kidnapped her. They discuss some of the strange things about the snake magic and the fried potatoes, a quirky reference in their conversation. The principal tells her that, indeed, she is from a very strong lineage and that the bizarre things she had been told were true. She had thought they were joking, but now she realizes they were serious. The principal then repeats the story from the beginning. Listen carefully, everything they told you is true. A long time ago, there was a very powerful princess who fell in love with an ordinary human. She became pregnant, and unfortunately, the child born from this union wasn't ordinary. He had extraordinary powers just like his mother. After that, he married, and their descendants all had supernatural abilities. However, none of them were like her. There was a legend that said a girl like her would be born after thousands of years with very strong powers. You are that girl. The heroine is shocked and says, "Oh my God, I don't believe it. Can you take her into your house, please? I still can't believe we're on vacation now because I just want to relax my mind from all of this." She leaves, and when she steps out, she finds the hero in front of her. She runs to hug him, and he reassures her, asking if anything happened to her. She tells him she's fine. At that moment, Mark arrives, and he watches them. He's not surprised anymore, having gotten used to the situation and understanding he's the third wheel who doesn't really matter. Meanwhile, the Snake Gang starts its second plan. They decide to kidnap the heroine's friends at school and give them a serum to enhance their supernatural abilities. They plan to control them and make them work for the gang in order to fight the hero and reclaim the heroine. The gang leader shares this information with the principal, and the principal realizes he must protect the students himself. He asks his assistant to investigate the matter, but the assistant laughs and tells him, "I'm tired of pretending to be your assistant. I've been wasting my time with a bunch of kids who don't even know how to use their powers properly. Let me be clear. I am the leader of the Snake Gang, and I'm the one who's been sending them thoughts on how to kidnap your students." The principal is shocked when he finds out that the only person he trusted with his secrets turned out to be his biggest enemy, someone who wants to destroy him and his school. Unfortunately, there's nothing he can do about it, as he's too weak to fight him on his own. Meanwhile, the Snake Gang leader approaches Mark and asks him to join forces so they can take over the world. Mark refuses, saying, "There's no way I'm listening to you or carrying out your plan." The gang leader gets angry and decides to get rid of him, knowing Mark is now an obstacle in his way. With a single move, he turns everyone around Mark into zombies and orders them to get rid of him. Mark is alone, but little do they know, he has the strength to save them all. Just then, Mark's family arrives and helps him. The first thing Mark does is rush to warn the hero. He tells him that the Snake Gang is after both him and the heroine, and they won't stop until they destroy them. He asks the hero to join forces with him to defeat the gang, but the hero refuses, saying that he's only interested in protecting himself and the heroine. Mark says, "Don't forget, in the end, we're brothers, and we come from the same family. Yes, I made mistakes and tried to control everything, but now I realize I was wrong. We have to work together." The hero is moved by Mark's words, sensing that he's sincere this time and feels guilty for betraying him. He decides to give him another chance and agrees to help him take down the gang. However, as they're talking, the Snake Gang attacks the school. At the same time, the heroine arrives there and the gang aims to eliminate her. But Mark and our hero are on their way to rescue her, but unfortunately they are delayed because she's about to be attacked. Suddenly, Xiao sacrifices himself to save her, and here he dies. Our hero becomes enraged after losing his friend and decides he must eliminate the entire gang. He fights them until he manages to take revenge, and then he goes to comfort our heroine, who is devastated over her friend's sacrifice. This repeats the cycle of our hero seeking justice for his friend. Afterward, they bury him and his comrades. Our hero takes this opportunity to talk to the others, explaining the situation and asking what their next step will be. He tells them that they must all stand together and cooperate to get rid of the gang. They agree, saying, "We're with you. We won't rest until we get revenge for our comrade." He thanks them, and they gather at the school, splitting into 3 groups. Each group is responsible for something, making sure to plan their attack against the Snake Gang. At the same time, they figure out how to save their friends and work together as one. Mark takes the opportunity to apologize to the heroine, asking for her forgiveness because he was the one who initially cooperated with the gang, and he brought them into their lives. She feels guilty because she knows everything, and that he did it for her. She tells him this will be the last time, and he promises not to make any more mistakes. They reconcile, and the two become like brothers, and she's happy about the situation. Problems are being solved one by one, and everyone has become close, like family. Meanwhile, the gang is sitting idly, playing cards, thinking everything is fine, and that nothing can stop them. But suddenly, Mark and his group launch a surprise attack on them, hitting them left and right, turning the situation around and almost wiping out half the gang. Our hero takes advantage of the opportunity as well. He goes to save his friends, but unfortunately, they are under the influence of the serum, and the gang has control over them. He can't recognize them, and they continue to fight him. Our hero tries not to hurt them, knowing that it's not their will, and goes to confront the gang leader, asking him for the vaccine that will return his friends to their normal state. However, the gang leader mocks him, saying, "Give it to you? What are you talking about? It's impossible. I'll control the entire world and take all the power for myself. I will rule the world." Our hero gets angry and begins to fight him. The gang leader takes the opportunity to set a trap, placing a bomb in the room to try and eliminate him. Meanwhile, our heroine is wondering why he's taking so long. He was supposed to return with the cure. She goes to check on him, only to realize that he's in danger, trapped in a place with a bomb. She decides she can't just wait and uses her power to disable the bomb and save both our hero and his friends. Finally, Mark makes a decision to sacrifice himself, feeling that he's the one responsible for all the trouble and everything that's happened. He blames himself. "I'll take the bomb into space and dispose of it there," he says. He says his goodbyes and flies away with the bomb. Our hero is shocked, feeling guilty that he never got to enjoy the feeling of brotherhood, that he finally had a brother, but now he's losing him. When the heroine sees what's happening, she can't bear it anymore and has a breakdown, knowing she has lost Mark, her dearest friend and comrade. They all get beaten in front of her eyes, even her beloved, and she can't save him. She screams, and in that moment she transforms into a completely different person, one with immense power. Everyone is shocked and amazed by what they see. She manages to eliminate the entire gang, stripping away their powers one by one. She rejoices, knowing she has ended their evil and saved the world from their harm. A week passes since the events, and our hero returns to his life. They announce once again that he is the rightful heir. This time, his mother steps forward and tells them the truth. She reveals that our hero is a Gemini, not a Leo, as she had previously said. Despite that, she tells him that he is a true, responsible man. He is the one who should be the heir because he is willing to sacrifice his life to protect the things he loves. He's the ideal person to protect the family. Finally, the family accepts him and agrees that he will be the heir. He's happy and goes to celebrate with our heroine. But unfortunately, when he arrives at the restaurant, he finds out that she has left, and no one knows where she went. He remains sad and upset, and a year passes. One day he goes to eat at a restaurant and by chance sees the heroine. He can't believe his eyes and confesses that he still loves her, that he missed her, and asks her for the last time to give him another chance. And that's how our series ends, dear viewers. Will our heroine agree or not? Don't forget to subscribe for more. Check out more recaps you'll absolutely love right here.